What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, welcome if this is your first time here. It is a cool morning here for August in East Tennessee. It must be global warming, maybe, could be. I doubt it. More like global cooling the way it feels right now. You know, most of everyone that watches these videos here on YouTube, these prepping type videos and things, know that most of what we're told in the media by our politicians is complete, total bullshit. But I don't think that most of you all realize just how bad that it actually is, and just how much bullshit that we're actually told on a daily basis. I would say that probably 90% of what we are told through the mainstream media, through the fact checkers on social media, through our politicians, is complete, total, utter bullshit. You know, when I was growing up, and I was a teenager, I thought that, you know, the media, the news, the talking heads in the news media were telling the truth. Somehow in my mind, I thought they were legally obligated to actually report the news and report their findings and tell us what was actually going on. But now, you know, when I've grown up and I've looked into this even more, I realize that that whole narrative that I had when I was young was completely wrong. And, you know, it says in the Bible that when you're a child, this is paraphrasing off my head here, if you're a child, when you're a child, you think in foolish ways and act in foolish ways. But when you grow up, you know, all that stuff comes to a stop. And that's kind of what happened to me. I realized how much bullshit that we're actually told on a daily basis. But even myself, you know, I didn't realize just how bad that actually was until probably 10-15 years ago. And I realized just how bad that it was. I mean, I knew we were told a lot of bull crap, a lot of false narratives and things to lead us certain ways. But I didn't realize just how bad that it actually was. And still yet, I'm afraid a lot of people, even who watch these prepping channels, are taken in by a lot of this false information that the federal government, the mainstream media, talking heads put forth. And, you know, the CIA runs the media. They run CNN, they run MSNBC, they run Fox News, they run all these mainstream news organizations. And we already know that the government is working with social media to push their narratives. So everything that we see is complete, utter bullshit. And it seems to be getting worse and worse all the time. They have been doing this for many years. We didn't realize this. You know, most of the history that we're taught, complete bullshit. The moon landing, complete bullshit. It was done in a studio, and that was back decades ago, in the 1960s. They had to do that to prove their superiority to Russia, and it was all propaganda. It was all to make them think we were the Soviet Union. It was all to make the Soviet Union think that we were far more advanced in the space race than they were, what we actually were when we really wasn't. And, you know, if you look at just history, most all the history we've been taught is altered, changed to suit a particular narrative. Just like, you know, Adolf Hitler died in the bunker. I was taught that in elementary school. The Russians were coming into Berlin, and Hitler and Eva Braun committed suicide in the bunker. It didn't happen. They escaped, like many other Nazis. It's been proven now. Many other high-ranking Nazis escaped from Berlin, Germany, before the war ended, and they made it to mostly Argentina. And they were helped get there by the Catholic Church. So, and it just goes on and on and on and on with the propaganda, the crap we've been taught. And you know, there was an act called the Smith-Mutt Act, and the U.S. Information and Education Exchange Act of 1948, Public Law 80-402, properly called the Smith-Mutt Act, was first introduced by Congressman Carl E. Mutt. I think that's how you pronounce it, guys. Smith-Mutt. Carl E. Mutt. These words are hard for me to pronounce sometimes. Anyway, In January 1945, in the 79th Congress, it was subsequently passed by the 80th Congress and signed into law by President Harry S. Truman on January 27th, 1948. And this down here, this other section, this is from Wikipedia. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can check this out. The act was developed to regulate broadcasting of programs for foreign audiences produced under the guidance of the State Department, and it prohibited domestic dissemination, I can't talk today for some reason, of materials produced by such programs as one of its provisions. The original version, this is the good part right here, guys, this is the good part, listen very closely. The original version of the act was amended by the Smith-Mutt Modernization Act of 2012 under Barack Hussein Obama, which allowed for materials produced by the State Department and the Broadcasting Board of Governors, BBG, to be made available within the United States. Meaning, they can feed you the same propaganda that we were allowed to feed foreign nations, to mislead you, to misguide you, to lead us to think certain ways and to take certain actions. And like I said, it's just gotten worse and worse as times went on. And if you look at that, 2012, they amended the law where they could knowingly, willingly feed us complete propaganda, legally, supposedly, the federal government. News made by the federal government, narratives made by the federal government, the State Department, the CIA. They've been doing it for a long time, but they just made it legal. And, you know, we all, or at least most people know of Operation Mockingbird, where it was proven that the CIA had infiltrated the mainstream media and was working with the inside the media to feed Americans and the world their own propaganda. And you know, now they can use green screens, they can use AI to generate whoever they want to generate. They have really sophisticated masks. They can wear body suits, look like someone else. They can be standing, you know, from me to right here 5 foot away talking, and you would think that it was someone else. They're that good now at all this fake narrative and things. They can use green screens to make people look like they're somewhere else, like in a war zone, for example, in a different building, a different location with different people. I mean, they've gotten so sophisticated that they can make and use essentially Hollywood type special effects and things to do whatever they want to do, to make things seem how they want things to seem. They can put that on the mainstream media, in the nightly news, over and over and over again, have the politicians talking about this, and people will believe it. People will think that it's actually what's actually happening. So who knows what's really going on? I mean, there's so much bullshit that's going on. Who knows what's actually the truth? I mean, we're told so many lies on a daily basis. It is constant. And there's been people put together different video clips to the news media saying exactly the same words, the same thing, word for word about specific topics. Blah, 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 blah. The same thing down the line through hundreds and hundreds of different so-called news organizations. And it's coming straight down from the federal government, from the deep state, from the CIA. They're getting their talking orders across the green screen. They're just reading that off and repeating that. And the politicians will repeat the same things, say the same things, get you to believe the same things. And it's total complete lies. You know, they act like they're somewhere that they're not. You know, we saw supposedly Nancy Pelosi go to Taiwan. Was she actually in Taiwan? Was it a green screen? Was it all Hollywood special effects? We saw different politicians go to Ukraine, supposedly. Was it real? Were they actually there? Was Vladimir Zelensky, I can't talk today, golly guys. Was he actually there? Who knows? And who knows? I know why I can't get my words out today correctly. I had this main back tooth back here extracted this past Tuesday. And I've had two on the same side. Unfortunately, had to have those extracted because it's still sore and it still hurts when I talk. But I had to have two different teeth back here in the main back extracted because the roots of both teeth had actually grown up through the bone, the jawbone, and up into my sinus cavities behind my eyes. And it's been really bad, and that's one reason I've had so much sinus trouble. And one side of my nose stopped up, couldn't breathe for years. That's why I walk around here, I might be getting my breath some, but it was because I was out of breath, because I couldn't breathe, because I was stopped up over here because my sinuses is always inflamed and things because of those teeth that's been there. Constant earaches, headaches on this side, so hopefully now, when this actually gets healed up, you know, I'll feel great. This one isn't as bad as the first one was I had pulled. That first one I had pulled was even worse. I mean, it took me 3 weeks to get over that one. This one's better right now than that one was for sure, but it's still affecting my ability to get my words out correctly, it seems. But anyway, you know, so many lies, and they do this and people eat it up. I mean, it's like this whole thing about Donald Trump. You know, is Donald Trump actually being charged? Is it real? Is it fake? Maybe. Who knows? Is he going to go to prison? Maybe. Is it real? Who knows? Or is it just a distraction? Is he one of them working with the cabal to lead us certain ways to think certain things and to take certain actions? I mean, who knows? At this point, they're so advanced with all this special effects, AI, green screens, the disguises and masking things they can use to be pretty much anyone. If they want you in prison, you'll be in prison. If they want me in prison, I can be in prison with proof of whatever they want to make up and show proof. It's like you know, if they want you in prison, you will be in prison, 100% guaranteed. They want to set you up. If you get targeted by the deep state and they actually want you in prison, you'll be in prison. They want you taken down, you'll be taken down. That's just the way it works nowadays. And they can fake, manipulate, and do whatever they want to do, and put it on through the talking heads in the mainstream media repeatedly every night to push that narrative, and people will believe it. Because if you repeat a lie long enough, people will believe it, especially if you show them what you're saying on video, but it's all fake propaganda and not real. Just like I said, the moon landing. And that was, like I said, decades ago in the 1960s they were doing this. But that was supposedly to make Russia think we're more advanced, the Soviet Union, than what we actually were. And it's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for forever. That's why governments keep power. That's like, you know, you see all these things going on about all these transgenders. You see all the things about race. It's all designed to make you think certain things, take certain actions, to divide and conquer, to keep you looking over here while they're doing something else over here. So guys, when you watch the news, and the talking heads are doing this, when you're reading fact checks and things like that on social media, know where that's coming from. It's coming directly from the deep state, the CIA, the global cabal. It's coming right down from them directly to us, through their computers, through our phones, through the television, through radio, through the internet, through all our communications networks. Everything we see is being planned, shown, organized by the powers that be to control us, to get us to think certain things, to take certain actions, to keep us calm a little bit longer, to make us angry a little bit longer, depending on the situation, to make us think that things are one way when they're really some other way. And all that stuff we've seen for the last going on 2 years now about Ukraine. Everything we saw about that has come directly from the federal government here in the United States, and the same thing around the world for everyone else. So, how much of it was true? How much of it was a lie? Who knows? Who knows at this point? All we can do is know that 90%, if not more, of everything we see, everything that we're told, is lies coming straight down from the CIA, the deep state, and the global cabal. If you liked the video, get a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. And the Creekmore Magnet. I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.